Hi there, it's Joanna with Hooked on Gardening. You know, this time of year I can get really restless when it comes to doing chores in my garden. Earlier I just came out and it's a gorgeous day, so I know I need to be out here working. And I just walked around in circles. It's like there's so much to do at this time of year that it can be almost overwhelming. And I don't always feel that way in the spring. I'm super excited, so I just, get things done. But in the fall, it's like, sure, I could let it all go. We could let it all go. But then there's so much to do in the spring that it just becomes overwhelming. And so I took a tip from another YouTube gardener, Vita Loca at Budget Gardening. Love her videos, by the way. And she just has been doing some videos where she makes a list and she crosses off. So I sat down and did that today. I made my list. So I'm gonna see if I can't whack off 5 jobs off my list. Maybe they're just easy ones. Maybe they're a little more intense, but I'm gonna try to knock off at least 5. So let's get busy, and I encourage you to do the same thing. So one of the things on my list that I want to get done is I want to dump 5 pots or 5 container gardens. At this time of year, check this one out. I'm cheating. I went and got had Hub bring around the tractor and with the trailer on the back, so I don't have to carry all this stuff through the backyard. But can you see how root bound this one was? I mean, when they get like this, it's like you have to water them a couple times a day, and I'm just, they don't look great. So the smaller pots I'm dumping, and some I will redo for fall. But yeah, oh, I got dirt in my eye. It's really windy. But yeah, see how packed that is? It's just like, yeah, it's time for it to go. And some stuff I like to overwinter, but it gets a little, I'll take coleus cuttings, and here's a big one. For instance, in this pot, there's coleus. I could take cuttings from it. I like to try to overwinter black-eyed Susan vine. I'm not usually very successful with that. And then this Dusty Miller, I could definitely overwinter that. But I have enough in other pots that I'm not going to worry about it. So yeah, this one is all going to go. And these things get so packed. Yeah, see, this one I'm just going to have to break apart and dump. But yeah, so just one of those, into summer chores that I like to get a head start on, because I would rather get it done and be able to cross that off my list than, leave it out here, and then in October when we're rushing around to get everything put away, to have to do it then. I also pulled in a bunch of my, that can't go in the compost. I also pulled in a bunch of my, garden art and stuff, and just, to get it in, to be one less thing. When it starts, when the leaves start falling, and that, I hate tracking all that into my shed. It just makes a huge mess. So I like to get my garden stuff, my garden art, and all the little, tchotchke things. I like to get that in and get it put away, so I don't have to deal with it and clean the leaves and all that stuff off of it. But yeah, so this pot actually has some decent soil in it. I probably could have kept this one going if I would water it more, but the watering chores get ridiculous when you're in a drought. so this is some good soil I can save. And I like to dump it in my raised bed. I have one raised bed that I have cleaned out. So I dump it in there. And then it's stuff that I can reuse in the bottom of pots next year, just so I don't have to fill the whole pot with new potting mix. So yeah, I'll do that. So I'll set that one aside. And here's another one that, look at this Angelonia. Still looks really good. Yeah, I kind of hate to get rid of it, but you know, it's time. I've got a lot of other Angelonia, and so I'm not sure how long it will last, like in the fall once we get a frost, if it'll be okay with a light frost. Some annuals will, and I'm okay with that, so I use those in my and this one too actually has some decent soil in it, so I will dump it, set it aside and dump it in my raised beds. So here's another one, ageratum. You know, I have tons of ageratum. That was actually a great perennial this year. I loved it. I started some from seed just to see how easy it was and how it would look in the gardens. And it's one of those annuals that just, as it's cooling down now, it looks amazing, really good. And yeah, I love it. And this pot also has some pretty decent soil in it. So, gotta get the tags out so they don't go on the compost. So yeah, I'll dump this one too. So in the bottom of my pots, I'm sure that you've seen all kinds of stuff on Pinterest, on YouTube. Gardeners say, fill the bottom of their big pots with just junk, like cans, plastic bottles. I say don't do that. Don't do that. Fill it with old soil, fill it with organic matter, fill it with leaves, with mulch, anything that will help retain moisture in your pot and that the roots like to grow in. Roots of plants don't like to grow in junk, so give them something organic to grow in and you'll see your pots will look much better. Yeah, so we'll set this one aside. Boy, some of these are heavy, and these terracotta pots for me here in my zone 4 gardens, these have to go in. These have to go inside, otherwise they crack. This one's pretty cracked up. It probably got left out last year, but yeah, they have to go in the shed, otherwise they crack in winter. So, yay, yay, yay. So I got a bunch of pots dumped. Another thing on my list, which we'll probably have to move the camera a little closer, is I want to clean up some of my dahlias. They are getting, well, they just need to be cleaned up. And we've got, once the temps cool down, the dahlias really come into their own then. They really start cranking out the buds. So 3 things on my list were to trim the dahlias, make sure that they're staked, and the 3rd thing was give them water. So I'm going to move the camera a little bit closer so you can actually see the dahlias that I'm working on. So yeah, so we'll do that. Okay, so one of the other things on my list is to work over these dahlias. And boy, some of them are, looking a little rough. These clippers need to be cleaned, they're sticking. But they need to, once it cools down, it really rejuvenates the dahlias. This is a really pretty one. I don't think it's what it says it is. It's one of those I got at Walmart, but yeah. In fact, I think I might even fertilize this one because it's looking a little worse for wear. Got some weeds down here in the pot. I like to grow some of my dahlias in pots just because it's easier in the fall once they freeze, the frost snaps them. It's just easier to pull them up for me. I do have some in the ground, but these were like last minute ones, and I just like, okay, I'm gonna stick these in pots. I have way too many. Ooh, this is a pretty one. It's buttercream, but I don't have any stakes that tall. So I think I'm gonna clip this wonky branch. Oh, come on. Cooperate, snippers. I'm gonna clip this one off, and I think that will help it a lot. Maybe I'll take these in. Ooh, this is called buttercream, and it's one of the ball varieties. Let's see if I can get closer. Really pretty. Oh, very cute. And it is buttercream, kind of a buttery yellow. I actually have a video coming out on dahlias. I don't have like tons and tons, but I do have enough to make it worthwhile. So it's always fun to see what dahlias the other people grow. And oh, this one's gorgeous. Okay, this is getting kind of tricky because it's really windy today. So my tripod fell over while I was recording. So, that drives me crazy. Anyway, it's all good. Hubs can edit the video and clip that part out. I don't know, maybe I should leave it in because it's real life here. Anyway, as I was saying, I'm not going to look up all the names of these dahlias while I'm clipping them here, because I do have a video coming out with dahlias, with all my dahlias. So yeah, today we are concentrating on getting some cleanup done and getting things marked off my list. Okay, so a little progress report. I am going to dump all my compost stuff, and then, oh, this is going to get bumpy, and then I'm going to come back. We're going to revisit my list, and I need to get 2 more things knocked off. So yeah, yay me! I'm getting my list knocked off. So on working on my list, I'm trying so hard not to get distracted. But oh my goodness, I gotta show you this. Look at all the monarchs on that meadow blazing star. Oh, I disturbed them. Now they're going crazy, but oh, I can't get enough. They're just, and they can't get enough. So there were like 5 or 6 monarchs. Now they're fluttering all about because I think they're a little ticked because I disturbed them. There's one guy hanging out. He's like, yay, I got the whole plant to myself. Now he's gone, but they're still fluttering all over. Okay, taking a little breather. I'm gonna take a little break, but I wanted to revisit my list really quick. So I can check off, clean up dahlias, yay! And I can check off stake dahlias, yay! So that's 2 things. I still need to water my dahlias. Actually, everything needs to be watered, but we're supposed to get rain tomorrow. So I'm gonna stick with just watering the ones in the ground. Or no, the ones in the pots. The ones in the ground will just have to wait for the real thing. So, oh, and dump 5 pots. I did more than 5, so I can mark that off. So the next thing I have on my list, which I'm gonna tackle after my break, is I'm gonna pull up 5 annuals, and which breaks my heart because my annuals are looking really good right now. But I have, the next thing on my list is to plant 3 perennials. So I have this plant hoard. I should show it to you. It's really disgraceful, but not really. It's really quite wonderful. Anyways, I'm plugging away at that. So on my list is to get 3 perennials in the ground from my plant hoard. So we'll do that in just a few minutes. Okay, so I think I'm sure I did a tour of this area before, and I am gonna, these, boy, it's dry. These Nicotiana have just been, okay. They're pretty from far away, but they require a lot of deadheading and stuff, so I don't feel bad pulling those out. So I've got one there, got a random little landscape staple. And so what I'm going to be putting in are these balloon flowers that I picked up on clearance at Lowe's. I got them for like $4. So yeah, so I shared that in my Lowe's plant haul. Yeah, so I'm going to stick those in. So let me see. One is going to go here. Okay. So one, we're going to space them out a little better than that. We'll do one here by this not blocks. Yep. Okay. And then here's another one here. These are the shorter bloom flowers, but you know, these things always get taller than what they say they're going to. Let me see. This says 18 to 24, so these might be a little too tall for the front, so I'm going to scoot them back just a little bit. Okay, sorry about that. I got interrupted. So I forgot I had somebody come in from Marketplace to pick up some stamp sets that I was selling. So yeah, so back to these balloon flowers. We're just gonna get going. I always add compost in. It's spilling to the hole just because my soil is super sandy and crappy. And then I don't always add biotone. Shoot, you know what nobody ever talks about on the YouTube videos, how horrific this stuff smells. I mean, even in the bag sealed up, you can smell it, it's awful. But it works really well to get plants going. And so I do like to do it in the fall, just so they have a good root base and they have a better chance of lasting the winter. So, all right, so enough talking. I gotta get digging and get these planted. Okay, you guys, so that was fun. And boy, I tell you, this morning when I came out, I was just like, I was ready to go back inside and just like, yeah, no, I don't want to garden today. But I'm telling you, making a list for me made all the difference in the world. I could go through and just hop off things. My goal was to get 5 things checked off my list, and I did. We did the dahlias, took care of the dahlias, and I did get those watered, so I do get to mark that off. And oh, my nose itches. It's very windy today, so I think it's pollen city. But I got 5 annuals pulled up, and we got the 3 balloon flowers from my plant hoard. So yay, that felt really good, and it made all the difference in the world making a list. So I encourage you to try that. I make lists all the time inside, and actually I make lists in the spring too for things I want to get done, especially if I have like a garden tour coming through or a backyard event, and that works really well. I don't know why, I just don't think of it when I'm in the thick of it at the end of summer. So anyways, it works. So do it. So hey, leave me a comment, let me know, do you make a list? No? Are you going to try it? Yeah, I'd like to hear from you, and that helps the channel too. So thanks so much for watching my movie today, and I just thank you really a lot. If you like gardening, I'm in Minnesota zone 4, 5-ish. Subscribe to the channel, that would help me out. You could get notifications then of when new videos come out. Click the thumbs up for this video if you liked it, and I appreciate you watching so much. Until next time, happy gardening.